Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Shelton Board of Education regular in-person meeting at the Board of Education office on Long Hill Avenue, first floor boardroom. Today is Wednesday, May 25th, 2022, and it is 7 o'clock p.m. Okay, before we call the meeting to order, I'd just like to say, could we please have a moment of silence, reflection, and respect for Jimmy McGrath, his family, his friends, and community. Words cannot fully express the sadness and grief we feel for the tragic loss of his life that took place several days ago. Let us also remember those who got injured and hope for their full emotional and medical recovery. We also need to remember the students, staff, and families at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, for the tragedy that occurred yesterday. A moment of silence, please. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order, please. Mrs. McShane, roll call.
Joseph Cagliero.
Here.
Lorraine Rosner. Here. Kate Kutash.
Here.
Diana Meyer.
Here.
Patty Noonan.
Here.
James Rossetti.
Here.
Carl Rizzo.
Here.
Amy Romano.
Here.
Kathy Yolish.
Here.
And the minutes will reflect in attendance Todd Hoppefinger, Carol Pinozzo, Ken Serenich, Kristen Santilli, and Sanjana Jain.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Joseph Pagliaro, seconded by Kate Kutash. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Agenda item 3, okay, approval of the consent agenda. There's no motion for that, right?
Motion to approve the
Do I need
consent
to-
agenda.
Yeah. Ken, do I need a motion to approve the consent agenda? Yes? Okay. I don't know, I get so confused. Okay, so we have a motion by Kate Kuchas, second by Lorraine Rosner. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Agenda item 4, approval of policy number 9222 as edited and presented at the April 27, 2022 regular Board of Education meeting.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Okay, we have a motion by Kate Kuchas, second.
I'll second.
Second by Lorraine Rosner. Any discussion? Okay, sensing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, can you, we need to know how many opposed. Okay, let's call for a verbal vote.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Joseph Cagliero.
No.
Lorraine Rosner.
Yes.
Kate Kutash.
Yes.
Diana Meyer.
Yes.
Patty Noonan.
Yes.
James Rossetti. Carl Rizzo.
No.
Amy Romano.
No.
Kathy Yolish.
Yes.
I'm showing 5 yes and 4 no.
Okay, so the motion is, to approve is denied. Okay, on to, discussion and possible approval of the 2023-2024 school calendar. You were given 3 options, and, do we have a motion from anyone as far as?
How about if the superintendent goes through what the
Briefly. Do you want to
the
just,
three calendars were?
do you want to briefly explain it? Just tell the difference between the 3.
Starting date this.
I want the later start date.
Oh, I have a summer.
I mean, the earlier start date.
He has a son.
But it was
No,
just
no,
the
I don't.
difference
Thank you,
was
though.
more like a whole bunch of early dismissal more early dismissal days on one.
So the board was presented with, the board was presented with three versions of a possible calendar for adoption for the 23-24 school year. They are marked as followed: version 2, version 3, and version 3A. Version 2 shows a start date of September 1st, with an end date of June 11th, 11 professional development days, and this would be what we would call our standard rollover calendar. There would be no changes, additions or deletions in the current calendar that we've had year over year. Version 3 shows a start date of August 30th, would be a start date before Labor Day. It would give us an end date of June 7th with 11 professional development days. Version 3A is like 3, where it does a start date before Labor Day of August 30th, a school end date of June 7th, but it adds 4 additional early dismissal days for students only, full days for staff, which would increase professional learning or professional development days from 11 to 15. And those are the 3 versions.
Okay.
Madam Chair, motion to approve version 3A with the additional professional development days and the early start date.
I'll second for purposes of discussion.
Okay, so we have a motion made by Kate Kuchas, seconded by Joseph Pagliaro. Okay, discussion.
I have just a question.
Okay.
Of course, we want more professional days for our teachers, of course.
Right.
I just wanted to see everybody's feedback on also too, a discussion of how do we feel that, I know it hurts parents sometimes when we have too many dismissal days too, because that affects their work schedule. And we're trying to find that balance, of course. So I sort of, such a hard toss-up.
It is a hard.
It's a very hard toss-up, you know, because I want to think of both sides. We have to think about the children and our school system, you know, as a whole.
Well,
So I'm more, I
Just
guess mine
speaking-
is more of a comment.
speaking as a old veteran teacher, I have spoken with many teachers who really feel the need to start before Labor Day.
Yes, I agree with
Number
that.
one, and they also feel, and I believe Mrs. Santilli, our Director of Curriculum Instruction, can say the value of the extra days, because we have so many needs, and each school has identified those needs, but especially with our curriculum, I think it would be very beneficial. I know it's difficult for parents, but I will tell you that in many of the school systems, other school systems, they do have those extra professional days. As a matter of fact, many of them have days off, the whole day off, where I think that we're being pretty fair-minded by having the kids come to school for it. That's just, I mean, I know it's gonna impact, it's either gonna impact, but it's also, it either impacts the teachers and the learning that's continued, or it impacts the parents because of the half-day schedule, so,
And the only alternative to add professional learning days would have to be in collective bargaining with the teacher's contract, without impacting the student schedule, because
Right.
we're confined to the student calendar.
and that adds more money. Mrs. Mayor.
I just think in light of the struggles the kids have had post-COVID and some of the things going on here in our community, I think we need to give the teachers as much as we can as far as support in order for them to, you know, it's obviously mental health is a big issue with our kids right now. And I talked to one parent who said her son is more comfortable talking to teachers than counselors and things like that. So I would be in favor of 3A because of that.
Ms. Dorisetti?
Over the period of years, I've also often had many conversations with parents about continuity of teaching with students and along with teachers also. But I would like to hear the superintendent's input on this. You know, definitely based on
Sure.
opinion on a professional living.
I'm
I think it's pretty rough. I always prefer as a parent to go back after Labor Day. But there are other circumstances to consider. So Mr. Superintendent, give us your input.
Sure, so we have developed these calendars based on feedback that we received from the parent community and soliciting from parents when calendars were adopted, as well as working with the administrative bargaining unit and the teachers bargaining unit. The major consensus across the board has been to start school before Labor Day, because all the other surrounding towns do that in terms of an advantage. There was a concern expressed in the past that we wanted them to start in September because of the heat issues in our elementary schools, but it is just as hot, if not equally hot, on June 23rd, which our school year is going to go to today. There's a consensus about wanting to be out earlier in June as opposed to going back later at the start of the school year. As well as there's an academic component here. When we look at AP testing, AP testing is the only assessment that we give within our district that we don't get to determine the timeline for that. That is set by the College Board. And because it's set by the College Board, our students in Shelton get less instructional time in preparation for the AP test as opposed to all the other districts who go in earlier than us. So in the research that we've done, the proposal to the board was made based on that information that we received from parents, teachers, and administrators. As far as the professional learning aspect, point well taken on both ends from Mrs. Romano and Mrs. Meyer. I think there is, we have to work with our community. It does put a hardship when we have our early dismissal, but there is a desperate need for professional learning as we are bringing in all new initiatives into our district. We are trying to meet the social and emotional needs of our students, and we want the best school system that we can. So any way that we can put in more professional learning into our calendar by giving parents plenty of notice, because remember, this isn't next year's calendar, this is the year after that. So we're hoping to kind of input this far in advance so that the community is prepared for this. It's not a sudden shock and change. And my recommendation, if you're asking for me, would be to vote for 3A.
Mr. Superintendent, does this calendar for 23, 24, does this correlate with CES and?
Yes, that's how we start the calendar process. We contact CES as our RESC that services all the local school districts. And they give us examples of calendars out there and tell us start dates and start times so that we're in alignment with neighborhood schools. Because remember, it's not an idea of keeping up with the Joneses in terms of neighborhood. It's about our students who go to some other programs that are outside of school. It becomes very difficult when our school's in session and kids are going to Aqua, or kids are going through some other program where how are they getting to school if they're not going to school because our school's not in session and their school is, or vice versa. So the more we can stay alignment to those programs that our kids attend, Fairchild, Wheeler, and such, the better it is in terms of continuity for programming for our students.
I thought that was going to be a state requirement.
The state has been pushing for years to try to do alignments of calendars, but that's the whole state versus local control. It's a political decision that has never happened. Yep.
That's been going on for 10 years.
You'll see, no, they're not taking this stuff.
Madam Chair, move the question.
Okay, can I just, before we move the question, Mrs. Santilli, as Director of Curriculum Instruction, et cetera, do you have anything to add to this conversation?
Well, this wasn't just something that we just decided to throw on the calendar. We really looked into it. I sit on the Curriculum Council meetings for all the various academic areas in our RESC at CES, and in meeting with different districts and people in a similar job as mine, we found that many districts not only just have one per marking period, many districts have one per month that they include in their calendar so that they can do PL. And back when I started in Shelton, I believe back in the day we did have some additional days, but they had since been taken away. So I think that it's something that if we could get back to even just one per marking period at this time, it will better equip our teachers in order to facilitate curriculum and instruction. And to your point, Diana, the SEL component is huge, and that's been a new endeavor to the plate of the teaching staff as well, so that we can better service the kids.
Thank you. Any other?
She agrees with the superintendent, of course.
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion?
That's great.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay, so let's move the question. The motion was made to approve 3A. All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I have a first by Jason Tash and a second by.
Joseph Pagliari.
By Joseph, okay.
So
All
just
right.
move the question.
All in
Okay,
favor?
so with that in mind, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. Okay. Number 6. Okay, approval of the superintendent's recommendation for the principal of Perry Hill School. I think you're on.
That's me. Madam Chair and Board of Education, as you met in executive session, it is my recommendation to appoint Donato Pacelli as the new principal of Perry Hill School. He is with us this evening. If you would please stand up. It is my firm belief that through the interviewing process that we held here in the Shelton Public School System, that Mr. Pacelli is going to enrich our school district and our leadership team, bring connections and collaboration between our levels as a school in the middle of a school system, and the right fit for the next generation of Perry Hill School.
Okay. Motion?
I'll make a motion
Okay.
to approve the
Mo-
superintendent's
A motion
recommendation.
made to approve the superintendent's recommendation by Mrs. Romano, second.
second it.
Second by Mr. Rizzo. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Congratulations. Okay.
Madam Chair, I don't know if it would be inappropriate, but I was on the board and nominated Mrs. Williams for Perry Hill School when we first, actually, rebuilt the old high school into, intermediate school into a Perry Hill school. And I'd like to thank Mrs. Williams for an outstanding job. She was just fantastic. Well done.
Okay, Mr. Pacelli, would you like to say a few comments? Certainly. Talking to the microphone so they can all, or whatever. Just loud enough.
I just want to say to the board,
Oh,
I
that's,
just want to express my sincere thanks and appreciation for your vote of support. Superintendent Saranich, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of the Perry Hill learning community. And to the people of Shelton, I'm excited. I cannot wait to be part of Perry Hill. I'm looking forward to Friday, July 1st. That's right around the corner. I've got my purple tie, probably a Hanford, and I'm looking forward to meeting the staff, families, and all of the students in Perry Hill. So thank you. I'm humbled. Thank you.
we're just gonna
Go under the Perry Hill sign.
Yeah, under the
Yeah, oh, that's gonna be a hard one.
Or, that might be hard. Oh, there you go. It's all right. Just kidding.
Madam Chair, if I could just say one more thing about Mrs. Williams. A lot of people don't understand.
In the mic, in the mic.
In the mic,
The mic can't hear you. No, it's on.
It's on, there you go. Just talk.
Well, anyway, Mrs. Williams, I'd like to congratulate our new principal of Perry Hill School, but people don't realize Mrs. Williams, when we instituted Perry Hill School, it was the first project of its kind in the state of Connecticut that we were designated as a build, renovate to new. And not only did Mrs. Williams guide our school through all those years, I just want to let you know, she was on the building committee. Did you know that? That she was there every day and every meeting, So I know that her heart and soul is into that school, and I'm gonna miss you. And you know where I hid the Skittles in those building blocks. Job well done, I really appreciate it. I'm the oldest, I guess, I go back with that far back.
You are the oldest, Mr. Orzak.
I feel it.
I think you were in high school, and I was just born.
You were kindergarten.
Okay. Let's see, item number 7, presentations, recognition. The CAVE student winners, Shelton High School and Shelton Intermediate School. We'll start with Shelton High School.
Yes, I would invite Mrs. Riddle as the principal of Shelton High School.
And I will invite her too.
Can I stand for that?
So just so our board is aware and, joining us tonight, so every year, CAVE, which we are members of as a board, honors 2 high school students and 2 middle school students for their achievement within their school, their leadership, and their support. And the selection process is building-based. So I'm going to ask Mrs. Riddle and Mr. Garrett to announce and share their CAVE winners from the schools.
Absolutely. I first want to start that we just won our volleyball game in the SEC semifinals. I'm very excited this evening to introduce 2 of our fabulous seniors to you. First being senior Mia Chen. She's here with her mom. Just a little bit about Mia. She's just an incredible student leader in our school as a member of student council as well as DECA. She is also a member of our soccer team. She's captain of our indoor track team and our outdoor track team. Our outdoor track team just won the SEC divisionals last week and then placed second yesterday in the SEC. So thank you. Mia has volunteered in so many different capacities, not only in our school but in our community, but she's also participated in an organization called Leaders for Change, where she's a mentor and a tutor for students from grades 3 to 10, I believe. You might recognize her because she was one of the co-founders of the students that took the initiative to raise funds for the city of Shelton for COVID for classrooms. So we thank you for that as well. She donated quite a bit of money to us. She is ranked in the top 10. We are announcing our top 22 of the class of 22 on Wednesday, but I'll give her a little clue that you are in the top 10. But next year she will be majoring in cell and molecular biology at Northeastern University. Our next recipient is Joe Giannini. And you are also in the top 10, but I'm not sure. You'll find out next Wednesday. Joe is also he's a member of our cross country and our track teams. Actually, this morning he was inducted into our Quill and Scroll Honor Society because he is editor-in-chief of our Gale magazine. He's also a member of our National Honor Society and our World Language Honor Society. He's an all-SEC academic team placement. Joe's claim to fame around Shelton High School is in the month of October. He did 200 pull-ups every single day. So we were all quite fascinated by this, which is going to prepare him because he's going to be participating in the Navy ROTC next year. He's majoring in station engineering and
Which college?
Yeah, what college?
University of Florida.
Oh, Florida. Smart boy. Going south.
That's already smart.
Congratulations.
Quinn Worley as our first recipient of the Connecticut Association Boards of Education Student Leadership Award. Quinn is an excellent example of student leadership within our community. A high honor roll member and captain of the SIS volleyball team, she has demonstrated her leadership capabilities in 7th grade and has continued her success with ease right through the 8th grade. Last year, Quinn was awarded the Pre-Algebra Award for Team Unity as a 7th grader and has been a peer model in the classroom with the Best Buddies program during the time of the intermediate school. Recently, Quinn was part of the winning team for the SIS Science Fair and will go on to represent our school at the state level. Outside of school, Quinn is a certified babysitter, likes to snowboard, and enjoys traveling the world with her family. She even aspires to see all 50 states before graduating from high school. These leadership skills and community activities have been a proven success for Quinn throughout her time at Shelton Intermediate School. We are very proud. Congratulations. Shelton Intermediate School is also pleased to announce Ravish Patel. As a member of the SIS Student Council, 7th grade Student of the Year and High Honor Roll member, Bishop is an excellent example of student leadership within our community. His recent accomplishments include being a part of the winning Shelton Robotics team, as well as participating after school in our SIS Math Counts program. Bishop is taking a high school geometry class in 8th grade and teaches math in his spare time virtually to students in India. Bishop is active in our Shelton sports community, playing baseball and running for the SIS track team. Outside of school, he volunteers with his family at Spooner House and has been playing piano since the age of 4. His teachers describe him as an excellent student who shows insightful thinking and citizenship to his fellow classmates. This award goes to students who possess these qualities of exemplary peer leadership. These leadership skills and community service activities have been a proven success for Bishop throughout his time throughout Shelton Intermediate School. Congratulations.
Oh, yes.
Teacher of the Year finalist.
Okay. Our 2022 Teacher of the Year finalists, our superintendent.
Yes, so what we wanted to do this year, as we're narrowing down our selection for the teacher of the year, was to recognize our 3 finalists.
Is this enough?
What I don't know if everyone is aware of, outside of the teacher of the year, it is a very rigorous process to go through the teacher of the year. Everyone can be nominated, people can be nominated, but when you go through the panel, you go through the interview process, go through the essay writing process, Chair, those are all the presentations for tonight.
Okay. Continue. Now we will have our Student Board of Education representative report. Sanjana?
Hi.
Hi.
So I first wanted to say thank you for the moment of silence for Jimmy. I went to the lacrosse game.
Wait. Microphone, please.
Yeah, get in the mic. People in chat.
I think it's on.
Really close.
It's on.
Get close.
I went to the lacrosse game on Wednesday, and it was great to see the way our community came together, especially with the school like prep, where we've always been known as like competitors, but we really came together that day. The next thing that we had on Saturday was junior prom, so I went to that. I know Rachel was there too, and there was a lot of dancing, a lot of food, and that was also like you see your whole grade all together when you're split apart throughout the entire year. So we had AP exams ending around May 12th, and then they had makeup. So with that means that finals are starting pretty soon. I know my first one is June 14th, so then that just shows that the school year is wrapping up really soon. Sports have been winding down for spring. Ms. Riddle mentioned that volleyball won today, and the tennis had their last match yesterday, and track SECs have been going on, like how she mentioned for Mia. And lastly, for seniors, it's crazy to think that they have less than a month before they graduate on June 22nd. So they have a lot of exciting things coming. You guys have the banquet on June 2nd and the senior picnic and trip to Lake Compounds on June 3rd. The seniors have their award ceremony along with the Book and Achievement Awards because those were moved, so that's on June 8th. June 10th is field day where the elementary schools, all the kids get split up and they go against each other. And then graduation. So those are some exciting events to look forward to, as well as for you guys.
Yes.
And that's it.
You didn't bring you should have worn your gown. We wanted to see what you look like.
I'm a junior.
No, her junior prom.
Oh, for junior prom.
We all know graduation.
She has pictures. She'll show you after.
Okay, all right.
Her dress was blue.
Thank you, Sanjana. Okay. Number 9, public comment. Per board policy numbers 9323 and 9325, 5 minutes allotted to each speaker. No Board of Ed employee, student, or community member should be defamed within public comment. Any members of the public who wish to speak briefly before the board must only comment on matters associated with the Board of Education business. Persons wishing to address the Shelton Board of Education are limited to Shelton residents, parents of current Shelton students, and employees of Shelton Public Schools or service contracted providers of Shelton Public Schools. Is there anybody from the public who wishes to speak? Oh. Okay. Okay, Ms. Keller?
I just want to bring you up to speed some activities that are going to be happening, very exciting activities that are going to be taking place in the next couple of weeks. I know that Mrs. Devancha brought forward the permission that she so graciously gave them to attend the Special Olympics in Florida. Well, we're getting really down to the wire. We had a unified track meet today, so they weren't able to come. And Mr. Sarin has been kind enough to have them come at the June meeting when they're going to be back. But so much is going to be happening that we wanted you to know what was going on. Especially since those of you that are retired and stay at home, can grab your tea or your coffee and get in front of that TV. Our kids are going to be on TV.
Yeah, Fox, right?
Well, it's just like so great. So this is the what I was given by Mrs. Devancha. 8 high school students and their 2 coaches, retired former Shelton educators, have been invited and will be attending and competing in the Special Olympics USA Games being held at Disney World in Orlando. Shelton's team is one of only 2 Connecticut Unified Sports teams invited to compete in these national games by CIAC. We have been invited because of the success of our unified teams and the strength of our program. We are sending 4 special ed students and 4 gen ed students, 4 girls, 4 boys. These students have been training together all year, and we have high hopes to medal in our unified track events. Karen has told me that we have a young man that's a jumper, they jump over a stick.
Hurdles?
We're Scott Snell.
I do band, you know. So you jump over a stick anyway, but this kid is so good. She said she hasn't seen anybody that well in a while. Avello Airlines, you know, the new airlines out of Tweed, has donated all flights for the Special Olympics. And Karen made arrangements for a bus, so the kids are going, you know, by coach to eat. That way she knows all the kids are with her, and that's a good thing. And, Thule, that, you know, the place down on Bridgeport Avenue, they've donated all the luggage, and Disney will be the host hotels, and has given the athletes passes to the park, and they will close Animal Kingdom for a day to allow all the kids to have the park to themselves.
Isn't that wonderful?
Special Olympics has donated all their official clothing, and Karen said it's just monstrous, the amount of clothes the kids have. ESPN is a sponsor of the games and will be televising the opening ceremonies, now get your calendars out.
Yeah.
June 5th, 9:30, and that will also be on Good Morning America. NBC Connecticut is sending 2 reporters down with our kids, the Shelton kids, so they can send back news throughout the days about how our kids are doing in their events. Closing ceremonies will be on the 11th, and that will also be televised on ESPN. Overall, I can't think of a better experience for any student to have. But mark your calendars.
I just-
All right, make sure.
I should also add, Ms. Kelly, that I have already spoken with Karen Javanchik, and we are going to do a spread in Shelton Light.
Oh, wonderful, you can't mention that.
Yes, so we're
that's
gonna do a
great.
spread for the July issue, and
That-
she's
yeah,
gonna
that'll
take
be great.
pictures, so
Just great.
I think it's something that's really positive, and I think our community needs to see what's going
Oh,
on.
I agree, and those kids are so excited.
Well,
She's
we're
like a-
excited for
She's like a
them.
moth to a light, they're all around her all the time. It's really great.
Yeah.
Okay, good for them. Good for us. Okay. Okay, the next, person that signed in, Ann, where's Ann? Ann, I have to just tell you that, I'm sorry, but point of order, this is not, the food service bid is not a matter of the board, board policy, the policy number I read, okay? And we cannot permit any comments that are not issues of the board. My only, I don't really have any suggestions for them, but, unless they write it, I don't know. But we can't read it anyways, right? No, I'm so sorry, there's. What, Joseph?
I said, I don't know, I was trying to think of what we would have done, but I can't even think of that.
Well, first of all, we are not the employees, okay? And, this,
Yeah, right.
employer, I'm sorry. So,
So maybe you might want to invite her to the finance committee meeting. That's where we used to handle the cafeteria. We might have cafeteria thing. I'm not sure.
What's the fee?
It's just a suggestion.
okay, it is a suggestion, but I think because it's a contract,
In negotiation.
in negotiations, I think that we can't do that.
I wouldn't recommend.
Hmm?
I wouldn't.
No, and I believe that, it was advised also by the board's attorneys, because we're not involved in that labor contract. Okay? I'm sorry. Okay. Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to speak?
For a picture with you.
Okay, I'm
Saw
sorry.
the picture.
Anyone else from the public who wishes to speak? Anyone else from the public who wishes to speak? Sensing none, we will continue, but I'll give everybody time if they want to leave.
All the honorees.
All the honorees and superintendent's report.
Thank you,
You're
Madam
on.
Chair. I would be remiss if I did not recognize, I know we took a moment of silence for what is happening in our community, but the tragedies that have been taking place not only in Shelton, but in our country, such as what happened in Texas. We just have to be mindful of what is happening and coming together as a community in the best interest of our students. I do want to do a special acknowledgement to the staff at Shelton High School for what they put together for our students, and particularly Mrs. Riddle for all of her countless hours of work that she did to not only support our own Shelton High School students, but also students within our community of Shelton. I want to also thank Clifford Beers, who came in to Shelton High School to give additional counseling support in school and out of school, working with Shelton staff and working with Shelton families in this time for their outstanding service that they provided for us. I believe now more than ever, we need to focus on what's important. And what's important to us is our students. We all do this, whether volunteers on the board, paid members for the Board of Ed, or parents because it's your child. We need to come together and get our students, not only through this year, but the countless years to come as the world around them is changing, and in some ways not the better. So I think we as the adults and we as the leaders of the community need to support them, teach them, and help them deal with these issues that face them locally and nationally. So on a lighter note and a more exciting note, I did inform, there was an announcement that was sent out to the pre-K parents as well as the board and administration and staff knows that we're very excited in our plans for pre-K next year. We will be regionalizing our pre-K program. We will be splitting the programs to localize more of the community in Shelton. Busing of our pre-K kids has been an extreme concern for all of us in terms of the driving time that a pre-K student spends on a bus. The city of Shelton is a very, very large city, and to have these youngsters spend a large amount of time. So by regionalizing this would be a step in the right direction for us. One site will remain at Mohegan School. The second site will be at Long Hill School. Not only will this help in the regionalization, this will actually provide for our students, the majority of the pre-K students, more of that home school feeding part. Ironically, when we looked at the demographics, most of our students in the pre-K program live in the Mohegan and Long Hill areas. So as they're part of the pre-K system, they'll continue within the school, helping that development and growing that pre-K through 12 school system. This has further implications by providing necessary improvements to the program. As the board is aware and as concerns have been expressed about our pre-K program, we're looking to enhance it, make it better. We're going through an accreditation process, and by making these changes as well, it will be able to secure accreditation and the funding that goes with the accreditation to enhance our program. It is our intent as administration to give a full overview of development and changes in our pre-K program at an upcoming teaching and learning. So yet is more to come and more changes are yet to be implemented. SBAC is currently underway. We are extremely close in terms of our compliance as I'm sure you're all aware, we are required to have at least a 95% or higher in participation. Otherwise, if we have less than 95% participation in taking the state exams, that will count against us in the scoring factor. Almost all of our schools, with the exception of the high school, who currently was set back in their testing schedule because of the issues that took place, have exceeded 95%. In some areas, in some sub-testings, we've had 100%, which is fantastic. I know the high school will continue to, and we will meet that participation rate before the testing window is over. We also have specialized tests in special areas for special population, the CTAA and the CTAS. Those are administered at a slower pace. We have not yet hit participation rates of 95 yet, but we all anticipate that that will happen as well. The testing window ends on June 3rd, and administration is very confident that not only will we meet the participation rate by June 3rd, that we are very excited to see our scores, because I think we'll have some great achievements to reflect when that time comes. I want to remind the community as a whole that we are experiencing a COVID uptick at this time. If you watch the local news, if you see the percentage rates that are coming up, we have been in advisement with our medical advisor, Dr. Casablanca. I had a meeting with the state epidemiologist virtually last week in talking about some of the concerns with the rising uptick in Shelton. There was no specific cause associated with it more than we're out doing a lot of things. There's a lot of activity going on in the city of Shelton, in school and out of school. So at best, what we want to do is remind everyone, I mean, the recommendations that came from the state again, the recommendations that came from Dr. Casablanca are pretty simple. Mitigation strategies, wearing masks when appropriate, social distancing when you can and necessary, hand washing is huge, using that Perel. If we can just remind the community about doing these mitigation strategies. We just heard a report from Sanjana about all these wonderful activities that are gonna happen for school districts. The last thing we wanna see is any impact that they may have for our kids because of a COVID spread. I just found out recently today that Trumbull High School made an announcement that they are making changes to their graduation because of the COVID outbreak that's happening there. We don't want that to happen here in Shelton. The best way that we could do that is being respectful and practicing the mitigating strategies as best we can. As the community is aware, tomorrow night, the Board of Aldermen sets the budget. There's a Board of Aldermen meeting at 5:30 tomorrow. I have informed the board and I've shared that I've had multiple conversations with President Inglace, with members of the Aldermanic Board. I met with the mayor today. All of our conversations have been extremely positive and favorable, and I am extremely confident that tomorrow there will be a proposal made and passed where we can mitigate the needs of our community in terms of the economic times that we have and the needs of our school system. It may not be a complete and equal level, but I do believe that it'll be something that we can definitely sustain within our school system and work within our means, making some changes that we present in the June meeting, but all roads are pointing in the right direction. So I look forward to what's happening. I know in the last Aldermanic budget workshop, which I spoke to Alderman there and after, and we talked about, they wanted to, and I wanted to report this out of finance, and I said I would do this tonight. One of their biggest concerns, or that they want to see happening, that we are making great strides with, is that we have taken all of our grant funding and spent it down, so that we are doing an effort to utilizing all sources of funding, so that we can have the least amount of impact on the budget and the taxpayers as well. That process is happening. Todd gave a report at Finance about how that gap that we reported a month ago has decreased. Our intent is to continue to decrease that gap as best we can. That is something that the aldermen are looking to see, that the mayor's looking to see, that we are making best efforts. So I'm proud that we are making those best efforts, and we're able to demonstrate that this evening at our finance meeting, which I was reminded that. They said, we read and watch those finance minutes every time they come out. So I'm glad that we got the minutes in. I'll be certain to make sure that President Inglace gets a copy of the minutes tomorrow before the meeting at 5:30, so he knows the efforts that we are making. And one of the biggest pieces and concerns that we've had all along has always been the cost of special ed. We've discussed, and one of the things that we're hoping to see, and I am confident that we've made an area here that the mayor and I will continue working out the details of the process, but is a commitment from our Aldermanic Board tomorrow that the city will establish a reserved account to get any overcharges with special education so that we can eliminate those costs from our budget, work as a school system in the course of next year to continually look to reduce costs, and when it's said and done next year at this time, the city will have our back in terms of any expenses that may incur in special ed. So again, that's a collaborative effort that's happening between the Board of Education and the city, and that's what Shelton's about, and that's what Shelton should continue to be. My last thing that I want to share, because the board has their celebrations at the end, so I'm going to do my little celebration of my board report. I had the opportunity to meet with the American Heart Association this week. They met with me in the office. They wanted to talk about Shelton and the great work that's being done at our schools. And they wanted to share that this year, as you know, our elementary schools and at the upper level, they do either jump rope for heart or hoops for heart. As a total, Shelton Public Schools raised $85,308 for the year. Not only did they say that that was an all-time high in terms of our region, something that we should really be proud of, This year alone, some of the schools had the highest they've ever raised in years. And the one thing that had happened, and I want to give credit to where credit is due, because when we hired this person in their position, Brad Piccarillo, as our new curriculum leader for health and PE, I told him in meeting with the Heart Association that we want to have participation in all schools. So the first time this year, all 8 schools participated across the board, which was another proud moment to do. And as a result, I thought this was interesting that I want to share in the celebrations. To date, with all the work that the Shelton Public School System has done in Hoops for Hearts and Jump Rope for Heart for the American Heart Association, has raised a total of $1,709,754 in all their years' service that they've done. Kudos to our staff, our PE staff, who I know do this, our administrators who support this, and most importantly, our students who participate in this. Job well done, so thank you. And that's my superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. Okay. I was planning to close by 8 o'clock, but it might be 8:10.
We had a lot of celebrations tonight, it's been good, good stuff.
I know celebrations are good, but I know that I try to keep my track record, you know. Some people are making a graph to see how on schedule I am. I just want to,
Well, the rest of the meeting's up to you guys. To see how-
okay. Communications to the board, as far as I know, we have none. Okay. Comments by the board chair. Okay. What does the number 20 mean to you? Probably nothing compared to the Shelton Public School staff, students, and especially the graduating seniors, because yes, that's the number of days left till the end of the school year. The days will be filled with many activities, including field days, programs, assemblies, award ceremonies, and retirement celebrations. At this time, I'd like to take the opportunity to recognize those educators and staff who are retiring and have given a total of 377 years of service to our school system. They are Sharon Kayer, Mary Clark, Patricia Donofrio, Robin Kitcher, Gail Craho, Rosalia Maturo, Patrice Sage, Laura Sargent, Seth Stevens, Mary Ann Tima, and Penny Zatomi. Perry Hill School Principal Lorraine Williams will also be retiring after 37 years of service, and we thank you, and you will be missed. Additionally, our maintenance trade worker, Hank Kozarowski, will hang up his work belt. Don't you like that? That was pretty cute.
Very creative writing.
Thank you. Will hang up his work belt after 24 years of service in our school buildings. And our finance office will lose Catherine Arujo, finance assistant, who worked with several different finance directors over a 23-year period of time.
Several.
That's what I said, several. On behalf of the Board of Education, we wish everyone much happiness, continued enjoyment in all that they set out to do. We honor, appreciate, and thank you for all that you have given to the students, employees, and community of Shelton. As we approach this Memorial Day weekend, please let us not forget all those military personnel who lost their lives while serving in the United States Armed Forces. And that is my report. Thank you. Onward to teaching and learning.
Teaching and learning did not meet this month, but will meet on June 14th at 5:45. Our agenda will be the district's spring testing, and it is projected that the preschool presentation will be in August, possibly no July meeting. But just anyone interested in preschool, that August meeting is open to the public if they're interested in seeing the program.
Thank you.
We'll firm up that it's on the agenda then a little later.
Finance Committee.
Finance met at 5:30 this evening, and as Mr. Saranich stated, we're shrinking that deficit. Right now, we're at 240,000 approximately, and we're hoping to meet the gap with some grants that are coming in. Also, we have a surplus with the city, but we're trying to exhaust everything first before we have to go that surplus is designated for healthcare only. Let me see. The cafeteria, we had the bids. We had 6 vendors come through. Bids are due June 7th to City Hall. And tomorrow, 5:30. I'm sure it'll be on YouTube or somewhere.
I'll be there.
Yeah, so, and as Mr. Saranish said, we're feeling very positive. The collaboration has gone very well. And that's it for me.
Policy?
Policy. We did not have a meeting in May, but we will have a meeting on June 14th at 4:30 here in the central office. The agenda item will be the bylaw 9222. I just wanted to reiterate the reason why the revision of bylaw 9222 did not pass, even though it was a majority, is because a bylaw needs to be passed by a 2/3 majority of the board. So we will continue discussions. I thought they were very fruitful last time. Everyone's concerns were added to the bylaw revision, and we will continue to do that until it needs approval.
Thank you. Buildings and grounds.
I think we will probably have a June meeting to wrap up everything this year. I will be here.
Will you be here?
I'll be back in 5 days. I'm only
Okay.
5 days away
All right.
this time.
Okay.
We'll do it before the June board meeting at
June
5.
15th.
June 15th.
June 5th, yeah.
Okay.
That's when it's scheduled.
Thank you. All right, reports of liaison. CES?
CES, Cooperative Educational Services Representative Council met on Thursday, May 5th. Director Chip Dumais reported that although they continue to recruit and hire summer staff, they should be in good position for the summer. CES changed healthcare providers from United Healthcare to Connecticut primarily due to the increase of mental health providers in that network. There will be a premium increase of 0.9%. Mr. Dumais also reported that Bob Rader at CABE is retiring and will be replaced by Patrice McCarthy. Among many outside involvements, Chip was an invited participant in review of the assessment portion of the accreditation process for the Council of Accreditation of Educator Preparation at UConn. CES approved a tuition increase for both the 6 to 6 magnet school and RCA of 2.5%. District superintendents were informed back in October, so it should already be covered in budgets with no surprise. It was reported that area social studies leaders heard from the founder of the Mary and Eliza Freeman Center about local African and Native American history of the Little Liberia community in the south end of Bridgeport. And it was noted that this center is an excellent resource for teachers and students participating in high school courses of African American, Black, Puerto Rican, and Latino studies. A record number of students auditioned for Regional Center for the Arts, as many students have been invited for next year as individual districts find acceptable. Fairfield, Monroe, and New Canaan have agreed to increase their number of students attending. Enrollment is about 2,770 students a year. Kristen Santilli presented to the CES Literary Council for all the districts in Fairfield County on our Wisdom program. And financially, CES reports savings are expected to be recognized in salary and benefit accounts due to the shortage of staff during the year. We next meet in June, but I can't make that one, if you can.
When is it?
First Thursday.
I have to look.
Yeah.
I have so many dots on my calendar. I don't know. June 7th, I'll check. Okay, thank you.
She's my alternate.
Kate.
No updates were received from Kate this month, so there's nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Item 15, for your information, in your packet, vacancy report, staff and stipend actions, enrollment, bus data log, special education report, 16 celebrations.
We have 16.
No.
Number 16.
I have one.
Sorry, I was just trying to make sure I get through by 8:10.
Oh my God.
So I have one?
Yes.
Okay. So our high school The Drama Club has been nominated for 8 Stephen Sondheim Awards for their musical Seussical. And anyone who's not familiar with these awards, they're sort of like the Tonys for the high school theater department. And I thought it was just Connecticut, but my notes here say Connecticut and Rhode Island are at these awards. People are nodding yes. Okay. So, and it's really a neat night. They go down to or at least in the past, they've gone to the Schubert Theater. They wear gowns. It's almost like the Oscars. It's really a thrill. And the last time we participated was 2019 when we won for Best Musical of Chicago. So this year for Seussical, we have nominated Best Supporting Actress, Anya Saranich, and she played, and I'd like to thank Anthony Tartaglia for giving me all the names of who played who. So it was key that he was here tonight. Okay, so Anya Saranich played the Sour Kangaroo. She is nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Best Actor Ben Souza, who played Horton, who is fabulous. And I think he's a freshman, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Best Actress Maya Giampaolo played JoJo. Best Actress was Kate McPadden, played Gertrude. Best Choreography is Katie Sedlock. Best Director, Katie Sedlock. Justin, thank you. Fiona Bryson, all are Shelton alumni, class of 2009. So, and this year there are 25 participating programs, so fingers crossed. That is held June 6th, Monday night. Oh, I hope they get there Tuesday for school.
Any other celebrations?
Yes, I do have one.
Yes, Mrs. Romano.
Okay, Booth Hill School, we just found this out, hot off the press, that Booth Hill School was nominated for one of the top performing schools in the 2021 Governor's Summer Reading Challenge. Governor Lamont will recognize all the schools, and it's a virtual award ceremony, May 31st at 10:30. So congratulations to Ms. Marks and Booth Hill School.
Sanjana, did you hear anything yet from the state or no?
No, I haven't. I had my interview last week, so
Okay.
I find out sometime soon.
She is she applied to be on the student representative for the State Board of Education for next year.
Oh, wonderful.
Nice.
So, I wrote a letter of recommendation for her, and she told me it's gonna happen sometime, I think in May, correct? Or
Yeah,
no?
so from the initial application, I got an interview. So that was last week, and then there's 2 more, I think, too.
All right, we're rooting for you. Okay, it's 8:06, so I have exactly 4 minutes. I have a celebration. Our director of curriculum, data, et cetera, just received her 093 certificate from Fairfield or Sacred Heart? From Sacred Heart. And on behalf of the board, we would like to say congratulations. And I should also add that we just found out that Mr. Pacelli, our newly hired principal, just received his as well, correct? Congratulations. I'm ahead of my time. It is 8:07 and we are adjourned.